Hi everyone, this is Levich. This is Women Techmakers, Product Management with Levich. I'm a product manager at Google, and today we'll be talking about creativity and innovation with our guest, Shimrit Ben-Yair, who is the product manager for YouTube Kids. Welcome, Shimrit.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. Shimrit, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a product manager at YouTube. I recently launched our kids product, and I've been at Google for almost 6 years now. So before that, I worked on Google Plus on social, and before that, I worked on Google Groups and Google Docs. Outside of work, I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, which may or may not have inspired my work on YouTube Kids. And I'm really excited to be with you today.
Wonderful, thank you. So Shimrit, tell us about creativity and innovation. How important is it in a product manager role?
I think, creativity and innovation is a central quality in a product manager. But I think people often think of creativity as sort of coming up with a brand new idea. All of a sudden, you have this completely different idea, and it's like this magical idea, and everyone should go do it. I think that happens. But I think often creativity is actually just looking at the world with a fresh set of eyes every single day. So yes, it's about looking at products in a different way, but it's also about looking at people in a different way.
Our users, for example?
Our users, for one, understanding, empathizing with them in different ways. What's working for them, what's not working for them. The people we work with, right? It's understanding, is this idea that I'm rejecting, why am I rejecting it? Is it because I just don't see the world like he or she does, or is it because there's something really wrong with this idea? So I think creativity is really about understanding, recognizing our biases, recognizing that, everyone's looking at the world from a very narrow place, right? And seeing, well, can we tackle things in a different way? Can we improve things in a meaningful way?
That is so true. This reminds me of Chrome OS. So Chrome OS is a laptop, right? So the idea existed for a while, as we know, but the idea of creating a laptop at $200, it's still very high quality and people can use. That's a very interesting idea that did not exist before.
Right.
And we've done it in a different manner, and
right.
we're scaling it in a different manner.
Right.
And people are enjoying Chromebooks all over the world. I completely agree with you. But tell me this, how do you put yourself in a situation where you can look with a fresh pair of eyes?
Mm-hmm. I think that there are a few ways to do it. So I think that creativity, by the way, I find that creativity is actually a skill that's learned. It's like a muscle that's trained. It's not like, I was either born with it or I wasn't. It's not a binary thing. I think everyone can grow it and cultivate it. First and foremost, it's around surrounding yourself with people who you can be creative with. For product manager, it's your engineering leads and understanding how to parse their ideas, parse their input. It's your designers and understanding how they're seeing the world, what ideas they're coming up with. It's marketing, who's very in touch with users and their needs. So it's creating that environment in which you're interacting with a lot of different kinds of people. A diverse environment is really important, I find, for creativity. Another really important aspect is finding inspiration. In order for you to create space to think of the world in a new way, you have to have downtime for this inspiration. For me, I get a lot of my inspiration from museums and art museums and contemporary art that have nothing to do with technology, rarely have anything to do with technology, but I see them as like these quizzes or like these question marks of like, what does this mean? Or this even just makes me feel good. So that inspires me. So, art is one thing. I think social time is really important.
Just talking to people and your friends who use your products.
Exactly.
Or even your kids.
Exactly.
I always get lots of inspiration and ideas from kids on how they approach things they've never seen before.
Yeah.
I bet you've seen this with your kids in the YouTube Kids app, actually.
Yeah, I saw it with my own kids, and I saw it with all the kids that we were testing the product with. When we built the app, we thought, we want to build a family-friendly version of YouTube, easy peasy. We as parents, know how our kids are using the app. But actually, it turned out to be a much more nuanced thing. Like, as our testers, as my kids and other kids of Googlers and YouTubers were using the app, you see actually fingers are clumsier than we thought. They're using the sort of border of the screen, what we call the chrome of the screen, in a different way than what we expect. So we had to make tap tap targets bigger. Kids don't read, so even like the text that we were emphasizing was useless to younger kids. So we had to make images bigger. Another thing is like actually borrowing from the world of video games. So kids today play a lot of games all the time, and they're expecting iconography that's playful, they're expecting animations, they're expecting sounds. So we added those in so that, you know, it would really represent kind of what the world looks like for kids and kind of bring that into YouTube.
That sounds very right, and I totally see it in the app today, and my kids love using it. Every day I give it to them.
That's good. Continue.
We will.
Okay, good.
Add the Chromecast integration.
Okay, sounds good. We're working on it.
You know, this is all very important, but sometimes there are challenging moments. Not always will you have your eureka moment when you need it, and you're trying to solve problems every day at work. How have you dealt with it in the past?
Creativity is actually really weaved in and tied in strongly to communication and analysis. One of the things that I think people who are not creative do is they just want to rush to a solution. They're confronted with a problem and they're like, okay, I'm going to spend a little bit of time finding out, and then they're like, okay, and we're going to do this and this and this. But actually the best product managers and the best leaders that I see are able to really take time to think and understand the problem and say, okay, well, what is the real issue here? Pause and say, okay, you know, these are the dimensions that we're dealing with. This is the issue. Is there something that we're missing? They're able to bring in different types of people for their input and analyze trade-offs before they jump to a solution. So to me, creativity is actually tied into dealing with ambiguity. And the best PMs that I know are able to deal with a high level of ambiguity. You're able to say, actually, I'm going to create an environment that's a little bit more ambiguous for the time being until we find the right solution. And they're able to shield all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that results from, you know, no one likes an ambiguous situation. Oh, what do you mean we have this problem in the product that we don't know how to fix? They're saying, yeah, and we're going to, you know, by Thursday or Friday or next week, we're going to have a solution, but we're pausing to really understand it. And I think that discipline is really important.
Yeah, I've seen it many times in our work here at Google, and it is very tough, but must be done. It definitely gets us to better solutions. Completely agree. You mentioned downtime before, and it also kind of leads into your strengths and your ability to deal with ambiguity and not rushing into solutions. How do you balance kind of work and life? How do you find time to go to museums, take care of 2 young kids, and deal with ambiguity every day at work?
Yeah. You know, when I became a parent 4 years ago, I realized that I would never ever be able to compete again on my time spent at the office. If I wanted to have a meaningful experience as a parent and, you know, have time with my kids, that means that I would need to, you know, have a pretty predictable time in which I come to work. The time that I became a parent has made me a much better product manager, in my opinion, a much better leader, because now I know that every day at the same time, for me at 5:30, I go home and I spend time with my kids. And so I have to be much more organized about my day. I have to be much more thoughtful about the things that I do and not do. And I think that that actually creates a better environment for the people around me and for the product, because we're able to focus and do fewer things, but do them really, really well.
Prioritize and focus. Exactly. I feel the same way.
I also feel like as a working mom, a lot of the pressures that working moms have is actually self-inflicted. It's like, oh, I'm feeling guilty. I'm at work. Oh, why am I not with my kids? Oh, I'm with my kids. Oh, why am I not checking email, or why am I not at work? And I think that actually
it's important to separate.
It's important to recognize this. You know, I think somehow maybe, you know, culturally in like, you know, the past 50 years, or I don't know what it is that has wired us to look at the world with this guilt mindset. But really, you know, I try to just be present. When I'm with my kids, I try not to be on email. I failed occasionally, but most of the time I try to be with my kids. And when I'm at work, I don't linger and think, you know, oh, I wish I could be with a park now. And I think that that has liberated me to be able to focus and to be able to have a good time. I think creativity and innovation, to tie back into your original question, is all about creating space. And if you're constantly just transactional, you're never going to have space to look at the world with a fresh set of eyes and to do things in a better way.
So if creativity is this muscle that you train, is it important to find roles where you would be kind of more in a position to train it every day, or what's a good role to take in your mind?
Every role is going to have some degree of creativity. You know, products have different levels of maturity. And actually, I've been fortunate in my career to have worked on products with different levels of maturity. When I first joined Google, I worked on Google Groups and Google Docs, and they were already launched products, and there I was just making improvements to them. So there I had to be creative in improving an existing product that already had a set of users with very specific needs, but still I needed to understand, okay, well, how do we do well for, how do we understand our user base? How do we make sure everyone's happy? That was a very different problem than when I'm working on YouTube Kids. That was a brand new product experience that we launched, the first time that YouTube launches a product that's friendly for families. So expectations are a little different.
Yeah.
So I personally think you're going to have creativity in every single role that you have, but it's just the creativity is going to manifest itself in different ways. When choosing roles and when choosing things to focus on, I think the three most important things are to choose an area that has a lot of growth ahead of it, to choose an area in which you feel like, okay, I'm learning a skill that I did in the past. Like, I don't know monetization, so I'm going to choose a role that has a lot of, ads or something, a subscription that I can work on, or I don't know mobile well, so I'm going to work on Android, or I'm going to work on a mobile app. So I think that's the second element. And then third, and most important in my opinion, is choosing a product that you're just going to love working with the people. Because with the right people, you can build any product.
Yeah, goes back to the partnerships that you mentioned.
Exactly.
You're able to form those and be creative and innovative.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense. Well, Shimrit, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your insights.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for watching. This is Product Management with Alex Levich. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes of Women Techmakers and subscribe to our YouTube channel.